What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Machiavelli, and I'm back with another reaction video, man. We got Sadhguru. Are you scared of change? Dude, you got a lot of people out here that really, I, I could not make this up, man. We got a lot of people out here who may have some real good talents, just don't know what they are. Probably are really talented and goal oriented, but at the same time, they just don't have that push. They don't have that drive. Or you could just have some people that literally just don't like things to be new. You know what I mean? But without further ado, man, let's get it.
You're not looking forward into anything great happening. If I don't get into
See?
trouble, that's enough. But that's when you start getting into trouble. So, you're not looking at life with zest, you're looking at life as safety. So, you need to understand this. Once you resist change, you're resisting the whole process of life and you will create unnecessary suffering.
And that's what I couldn't have said that any better. I swear I couldn't have said that any better. A lot of people are so scared of change, and then because they didn't want to take the opportunity to change, it puts them in a position where they feel like, oh, I'm suffering, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that, I'm miserable right now because I didn't make that decision. You didn't have to make this decision to struggle or, be in the position that you're in, but because you are scared of change, this is what you chose. I will never understand. Never.
So once you resist change, depression is a natural process.
Depressed!
If you try to control the variety of situations that may pop up in your face tomorrow morning, all that'll happen is you will become a very limited life. Realization means you simply saw what is already there. You did not invent anything. You did not climb the top of a mountain. You are beginning to see everything just the way it is.
Everything is in flux, nothing is permanent. At one point in time, everything you know goes through a change for the good or bad. As we grow and try to keep adapting to the changes life brings upon us, some begin to fear what's going to happen next. Sadhguru explains why every change in life is necessary and how not wanting changes is against nature itself. Find out how you should face the changes in your life.
Why?
You literally, like, literally. It drives me nuts, man, because you have no idea what you're doing when you're not receptive to change. Like when you're not receptive to change, or I mean, I get it. It's uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes you have to suffer a little bit of uncomfortableness just for a change. A lot of people don't want to go through that. I get it, right? But or getting their hopes up. I think that's another thing that a lot of people are scared of too when they're scared of change. They're scared of getting their hopes up just for the disappointment to land right after. I get it, right? But at the same time, you're kind of taken away from life, you know, dealing you the cards that you should be dealt when you're not being receptive to change, if I said that correctly. You're not really the way your life should be or way it could be. You're not letting it go that route because you're not receptive to change. Man, you have to be receptive to change if your life should be like this or you want your life to be like this. You have to be receptive to change, man. And it's kind of crazy because I wasn't really receptive to change too long ago, but once I was, and I seen that it could potentially get me to a certain point, yeah, I made that change. I made that adjustment. It may have been uncomfortable for me, but yeah, I did it, and I'm in a better place right now. you know? But if I wouldn't have made that decision and still stuck to and stayed on that same boat, which was I'm not gonna change, I'm not gonna do this and make this sort of decision to do this, I would not yeah, I would not be happy. I'd be very, very miserable, depressed, and just very chewed up and spit out. You guys make that change, man.
Why is change in life so difficult? When I was younger, I was excited by change. I looked forward to it, I was happy when it happened. As I'm growing older, I try to avoid it as much as possible and not able to cope when it happens.
It all depends who is initiating the change.
Maybe, but is there something like an appropriate response to change?
One reason why change is becoming difficult as you get older is you have found cocoons of comfort.
BetterHelp gives you access to over 20,000 licensed therapists, meaning that you can get online therapy done securely from…
There are many comfort zones you created. Any disturbance of that, you're disturbed now.
Exactly. You've built this sort of borderline between what you want to happen, and if that does not happen the way that you want it to happen, then you dislike it and this is uncomfortable. You're pretty much setting a boundary around what you feel like is comfortable for you. Then when that goes the complete opposite direction, you're like, I'm miserable now. But see, like, that's the crazy thing. Like, see, when you're a kid, as she said, like, when she was a kid, she felt like, did everything with comfort. She wasn't scared of change. The reason why that is because you're a kid. You feel like you don't know, your brain hasn't even really developed yet to even know what life is like yet. What your life is going to be like when you're older. You turning 18, you're not even thinking about that. When you're turning 20, you're not thinking about that. When you're a kid, you're not thinking about car note, rent, bills, car notes, whatever it is. You're not thinking about that. What you're just thinking about is being a kid, living life as it should be, But as you get older, of course, you can't be so scared of change to where you're dividing what you feel like is good for you and comfortable for you. And the moment that doesn't go your way, it's uncomfortable, so I don't want to make this change to get different results. You guys follow me? I know I'm kind of rambling, kind of talking, but yeah, I get it. I 100% get it, bro.
When you were young, you were not looking for comfort, you were looking for life. Now you're not looking for life, you're looking for comfort, safety. See, when you were 16, 18, you had wild dreams as to what you want to do with your life.
Yep.
By the time you became 25, you cut down all the frills and thought, this is all not practical, I'm becoming practical now. All that happened is you were becoming a coward, but you said, I'm becoming practical, and cut down many things and said, if I get a job, if I earn my living, this is okay. By the time you're 35, you're thinking, if I don't get into any trouble, that's enough. You're not looking forward to anything great happening. If I don't get into trouble, that's enough. But that's when you start getting into trouble. So, you're not looking at life with zest, you're looking at life as safety. The more security-oriented you are, the more disturbed you will be with every change that happens in your life. The essence of physical existence is change, isn't it? Isn't it so? Everything is changing,
I'm gonna look you guys in the eye when I say this, man. Don't ever be scared of change. Don't ever be afraid of it, man. Like, you guys will literally regret it at some point later down the line. Don't be so security oriented that you forget or don't, that you're afraid to make that move. Make that move, man, whatever it is. I don't care if it's, because at the end of the day, all you have is you. Nobody… When you go home, it's you. Maybe your family members, but it's you. You're not taking the world home with you. You don't have to be. Just don't be afraid of change, man. Don't. I don't care if you want to change up the way you dress or if you want to change up the style of how your hair looks. I don't care what it is. Live life for you, man. That's for boys and girls, men and women. Live your life for you. Don't be scared because the other person's scared. Don't be because you have a lot of people out there that'll do that too. Because they're scared of change, they'll try to impose that same they'll try to deliver that same sort of toxic vibe to you and try to impute that into your mind and then next thing you know, you're scared of change because this person was scared of change. Because they pretty much opened that door and you know walked you into that negative room. So yeah, you guys just don't bite into it, man.
Is there anything that's not changing? Everything in the existence is changing, isn't it? The physical existence is constantly changing. The very essence of physical reality is change. Nothing is constant. Even the so-called static states are dynamic in nature, everything is changing.
If you try to control the variety of situations that may pop up in your face tomorrow morning, all that'll happen is you will become a very limited life. You would step out into the world and do whatever that needs to be done only if you have an assurance, no matter what you walk into, you will not lose yourself. You will walk full stride, otherwise you'll only be a half a step. Most human beings are half steps because the fear of suffering.
Yep,
If
see?
this happens, what'll happen to me? If that happens, what'll happen to me?
Scared because you're thinking of what bad could happen if you make this decision. Literally, I just said that. Some people, you guys will come to a realization at some point later down the line that I shouldn't live my life off being scared of what the after effect is going to be. Or, that's like having a headache and then you take something for it. Or rather, you have a headache, you want to take something for it, but you're scared of what the side effects are going to be. So you rather stay suffering and having a headache, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Like what, you know what I'm saying? Like what good does that do you? So sometimes you just have to put those fears behind you, man, and get it done.
If you're well managed within yourself, you know how to manage your thought, you know how to manage your emotion, you know how to manage your body, your chemistry, your energy. If you know how to manage all this, what does it matter if you walk into hell, I'm asking? If you are well managed, if you are a heaven within you, what does it matter where you go? Hell also will be an interesting place to go. But if you are ill managed…
Sorry to keep pausing, you guys. But my thing is this. Let's say you want to do something and it didn't work out the way you planned. What's the worst that could happen? My thing is that, like, if you want to change something or you want it, you know, like, what's the worst that could happen, bro? If it happened, great. If it didn't, okay, better luck next time. Like, I don't understand what's the worst that could happen, like, literally. Scared of change. Maybe something good come out of it. If it did, that's cool. If not, hey, it's either a lesson learned or better luck next time. That's all, man. Some people don't even try. That's the sad thing about it. A lot of people don't even try, man. You have a lot of people that are scared of change, but they're not even trying. At least try. But you have a lot of people that take offense to trying to change because they don't want to be receptive to it. It's easier for them to just, stay stagnant, stay miserable, stay in this in their little bubble, I'm not gonna get nowhere like that, man.
managed, then you want to be in a nice place all the time. You will not step out into anything. I'm not saying this is wrong, this is against nature, because in nature, every life is aspiring to be as much as it can be, isn't it? Every life is naturally aspiring, this is not a philosophy, this is not an ideology that you must do this or that. It is natural and intrinsic for every life that it will do as much as it can. From an earthworm, from a worm to an insect to a bird, to an animal to a tree, every one of them are trying to be full-fledged life. If you go against this simply because of the fear of suffering, then all possibilities of exploring the nature of being human, the tremendous immensity of being human is just lost upon humanity. Today, you will see this everywhere. When people say, I am only human, they are talking about the limitations of being human. They are not talking about the possibilities of being human, isn't it? When…
That's crazy because I never thought of that. I hear a lot of people say that. Yeah, not a day goes by where that doesn't get past me. But, yeah, I never even really looked at it like that. When people say I'm only human, I just shrug my shoulders and go like, okay. A lot of us are human, but a lot of us that are human are out here doing great things. So what's stopping you from doing great things and changing either your ways or the ways that you're doing certain things or changing who you are? Like, what's wrong with that? If you do that, trust me, no more suffering, no more you being scared. But I mean, what do you really tell people like that who don't want to be receptive to that? What do you tell people when they rather go through hell and burn, crash, burn, and suffer because they don't want to, because they're scared of change? What do you tell people like that after you've laid out this entire thing of, hey, there's a lot of you may be only human, but there's a lot of us out here that are only human, and we're being a success in some sort of way. We're not scared of change. We're changing how we do this. We're changing how we do that. You know? So it's not fair to even us as human beings that you're sitting up here being the way that you're being and don't want to change because you're afraid of what could happen in a negative way. What could happen, and like when you think about it, bro, that's kind of disrespectful. Just, yeah, like how you say, humanity. It's not fair to us, man. We had to change. How come you can't change? Or we have to adapt to change. How come you couldn't adapt? You know?
if we are the most intelligent species on the planet, if we are the most capable species on the planet, should we be talking about our possibilities or should we be talking about our limitations? Whenever anybody writes or says, oh, we are human, they're always referring to their limitations, never to the possibilities of being human. The reason why people have not even learned to manage their thought and emotion. By the time you're 10, you should have learnt it. At 60, people still don't know how to manage their thought and emotion. They're standing up like ghosts in their life. They don't need anybody's help. They can go on endlessly creating suffering for themselves because ill-managed. Because the fundamentals of life are not grasped. What is the nature of my existence? If you don't know this, how do you manage it? Only if you grasp the nature of something, then you learn to manage it, isn't it? You don't even see what it is, how to manage it? There is no way to manage it. So the first and foremost thing, that's why, is called realization. You must understand this. Realization means you simply saw what is already there. You did not invent anything. You did not climb the top of a mountain. You're beginning to see everything just the way it is. But that has become such a rarity that it is being hugely valued.
So if you resist change, you're resisting life. If you want an unchanging life, there's one beautiful place where nothing changes, that's your grave. Either you must go to your grave or you must get enlightened if you don't want change. Then somewhere inside everything is same. But otherwise, as long as you're a part of the physical process of the existence, everything is changed. There is nothing that is not changing. See, this moment you're inhaling, next moment you're exhaling, it's change, isn't it? If you don't want change, you stop it. So when you resist change, you must understand you're resisting the very process of life, not just your life, you're resisting the very fundamental process of life. Invariably, you will invite all kinds of suffering. If you're living and you want to be dead, you will ask for trouble, isn't it? You must be living. When you're living, you must live totally. If you want to die, you must do that efficiently. These are inefficient ways of killing yourself, really. Unhappiness and depression are inefficient ways of killing yourself, isn't it so? At least be efficient. I can…
I like that, man. Because at the same time, if you guys are not understanding this, if you don't want change, why be here? And if you're gonna take that route of harming yourself and taking yourself up out of here, don't just be depressed and you feel like that's your scapegoat to not feel what you're feeling. Just go. I'm not saying for you guys to actually go out here and harm yourselves. That's not what I'm saying. But the point that he's trying to make is, if you're scared of change, that's just like being dead. So, if that's the case, what are you here for? Just go ahead and go. But at the same time, if you're gonna do that, don't just sit down in your bathroom floor stressing or being depressed and being miserable, because you didn't want the change, remember? And because you didn't want the change, now you're suffering behind it. So now that you're suffering behind it because you didn't want the change, how can you complain? How can you be miserable off a decision that you made to stay miserable? You guys get what I'm saying? Makes no sense, right?
give you 10 different ways to die. So, you need to understand this. Once you resist change, you're resisting the whole process of life and you will create unnecessary suffering. So once you resist change, depression is a natural process. On a certain day, the devil decided to retire. Because he is retiring, he decided to put all the tools of his trade for a garage sale. So he opened up discount sale, all the devil's tools. There's a huge rush. There are all kinds of things, anger, hatred, jealousy, this one, that one, everything on the table. All of you people went and bought it up in no time. Everything was sold out in the first hour, all his tools. The whole humanity has bought it, isn't it? But he had still one more bag and what's your name? Lena? Lena went and asked the devil, "What's in that bag? Isn't that for sale?" He said, "No, no, these are the prize tools, just as souvenirs. I want to keep them because they have worked best to do my job." Lena said, "No, I want it, please. Won't you sell that?" Devil said, "No, no, no, these two tools that I have in this bag, they have worked so wonderfully well. in my whole career that I would like to keep them as my souvenirs. Once Lena said, many other people joined behind her and please put it on sale, put it on sale, put it on sale. Then the devil pulled out and said, okay, if you're giving a good price, let me put it on sale. Then it pulled out frustration and depression and put it on table. These two are the best of the devil's tools. If you want to destroy your life, frustration, you start with frustration, develop into depression. You're there. There's nothing worse than that. You'll work against yourself. And the moment you resist change, frustration is natural. Once frustration comes, it'll naturally evolve into depression. So, you put it on sale.
Once you are prepared to live in the best way possible, the changes that come along will no longer be so threatening. If you are new to our channel, here's a video.
Exactly. You guys make it a habit of changing and not being scared of change. Any sort of change that comes your way, you won't be scared of it no more, man. You'll be so used to it because you've taken risks. You know what I mean? You've adapted to change that anytime a certain change comes along, whether if it's good or bad, you know how to approach it. You know how to handle it. You know what I mean? And I think that's the key here as well. Like, you guys, like I say, guys can't sit up here and think about, oh, but this could happen if I do this. Don't think like that. Just think, what if some good happens? Then what? That might take you out of this pain, miserable, and suffering that you're already going through. But because you didn't want to, you chose to be scared of change, it's like, you can't really complain at that point, man. That's what you wanted to do.
That might interest you, and tell us what you would like to know more about in the comments.
Let me save this to my watch later because I haven't did that yet.
God doesn't care.
That's the end of that video, man. If you guys like this video, give it a fat thumbs up, like, comment, share, subscribe. Mike and Billy Gang, we up out of here, man. I love you guys, man. You guys have a blessed one and a safe one, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Peace.